Salutations and fist bumps, folk. Welcome back to the grid. I'm Joel, aka the Blur Grammar. Quantumania has officially launched us into the multiverse and inside of Phase 5. Now that we have a little bit more backstory as to what went on inside of the quantum realm with Janet while she was inside, we have a little bit more backstory and plot pathways that we can take, and one of those is starting to take shape and gain traction around the MCU fan community. According to Cosmic Circus writer Alex Perez, in response to Twitter user Hail Eternal, there's a possibility that a character from the AntMan franchise, specifically inside of Quantumania, could be meeting their demise inside of Avengers Kang Dynasty. But before we start talking about who will or possibly may be making their way out of the MCU inside of Kang Dynasty, we need to talk a little bit about who I think won't be taking a dirt nap inside of the MCU.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
So the first up on the list is Hope Van Dyne. Now the reason why I believe Hope won't be is because I think that she is going to become Cassie's mentor. Next up on the list is Cassie. Cassie isn't listed in any of the things that I've read so far because she is being set up, or at least the way that it looks right now, the Young Avengers are being set up inside of the MCU at present. We aren't necessarily talking about them inside of character plots and stories inside of the actual movies, but the characters are surrounding us literally inside of the MCU as we speak right now. So because of that fact, I don't believe Cassie is going to be taking a rest R.I.P. inside of Kang Dynasty, at least not just yet. There may be a situation where, quick pause here, just need you to like this video, because if you do, more people will start to understand and know about this channel, and then more people will start talking about comics, and I want that to happen more and more and more. So please like the video. Thank you. Back to it. That happens later on inside of maybe Phase 6 or 7, 8, something like that. But right now, the Young Avengers need to have Cassie inside of it because of the power that she has with Ant-Man. Now, the three characters that I believe might be taking that long journey down the road inside the MCU are Scott Lang, Janet Van Dyne, and Hank Pym. So let's take a closer look as to why, at least currently, why these characters may be on the chopping block for Kang in Kang Dynasty. Starting with Hank Pym. Michael Douglas has been on record expressing that he would like to step away from the MCU and specifically step away from the Hank Pym character. So it is a very clear, at least if that was to happen inside of the Kang Dynasty story, it would be a very clear understanding as to why he would be the one taking that long journey down the road and not returning inside of the MCU going forward. But I personally believe that Hank Pym is going to be a very key cog inside of the storyline to defeat Kang because of the fact that he has so much technology at his disposal and he has the understanding of what is going on inside the quantum realm and all that kind of stuff because he studied it so much.
And I spent the next 10 years trying to learn all I could.
I think he's probably going to be safe if that is not the case. I can understand why, but I'm saying, I'm just theorizing here that he probably will make it out of Kang Dynasty because they might just need it. Second up on the list is Janet. Now, the reason why I believe Janet may be making her exit out of the MCU inside of Kang Dynasty is because of what she did to Kang, spoiler alert here, inside of the quantum realm before Quantumania and all that kind of stuff happened. The backstory there, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, trying to save you here if you need to, but the basic thing around this is that she trapped him inside the quantum realm, and it may be that he is going to get retribution or look back at that and say, that's the reason why you now have to die, because of what you did and trapped me here, and now whatever storyline happened inside of Kang Dynasty, we don't know, it's still being written, but it just feels like that would be a motive for Kang to off her because of what she did, making him completely angry and literally trapping him inside of the quantum realm when he was about to leave. And last but not least on this list would be Scott. Now, I left him at the end of this list because of the fact that there's a lot that could happen inside of the MCU because of what happens around his character inside of the comics as well. Paul Rudd has expressed that he would like to have Scott Lang have a bit of a break in terms of fighting big bads all over the MCU, because at this point he has fought Thanos and now Kang. And all Paul Rudd just wants Scott Lang to have the ability to do is sit on a beach somewhere and sip some Mai Tais or something like that for a little bit, because it just seems like Scott has always been thrown inside the ringer as soon as he got his power.
Not bad for a test drive. Keep the suit. I'll be in touch.
Not to mention that he has also been on house arrest, been incarcerated, and literally been placed inside of the quantum realm for 5 years. If that ain't enough for one character to have to deal with, I don't know what is. But all that aside, there's a very strong possibility that Kang is just going to come after Ant-Man specifically, because he's the main target that, at least at this point, from what we saw inside of Quantumania, Kang hasn't, or maybe hasn't, killed him yet. So if that is the case, he might just want to off GP because he hasn't yet. But also in the comics, Ant-Man does die. You see, inside of Avengers Disassembled, Avengers 500 through 503, and Avengers Finale #1, Scott actually does die inside of that event. So there's a possibility that inside of Kang Dynasty, there could be a similar arc or story. And if that is the case, I would be pointing back to that event inside the comics later on. Now hold up, you know, at this point, this is not confirmed, but it's just fun to talk. So that's why we are talking about it in this video. Again, it is not confirmed as to what is going to happen inside of Kang Dynasty just yet, because it is still being written. All of the large events in terms of the catastrophic things that could happen inside the MCU are still being built inside of phase 5 as well. All of the things that could happen around those puzzle pieces and Lego blocks inside of Kang Dynasty haven't been placed in stone yet. So a lot of what we're talking about is just speculation. Literally all of it is pretty much speculation, because we don't know who is going to actually meet their demise inside of Kang Dynasty. But again, it's just fun to theorize, talk about, and contemplate. This is why we do this around this channel all day long. If you want to go ahead and further that conversation, go ahead and leave that down in the comments so that you can further this discussion and we can have a little bit more dialogue as to who is going to die inside of Kang Dynasty. If you want to have more conversation around this topic, go ahead and follow me on Instagram at BlurredGrammar, and until next video, Blurred out.